We're going to get started this morning with the latest from the Middle East. Iran launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles into Israel on Tuesday in what Tehran said was a response to the killing of one of its commanders and Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah over the weekend. The IDF said it intercepted most of the missiles fired at the country.
But the Israeli military says at least one person was killed and several others injured. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to retaliate, saying Iran will pay. The attack came just hours after Israel said it launched a, quote, limited and localized ground operation against the Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. All of it raising the stakes in what's already a tense moment between the two sides. President Biden said the U.S. is fully supportive of Israel, but his administration is still discussing with Israel what kind of response would be appropriate. NBC News chief international analyst Admiral James Stavridis is standing by for more on this. But let's begin with NBC News international correspondent Matt Bradley, who's on the ground in Lebanon's capital. Matt, good morning. Let's start with the latest on the ground in the region. Just what can you tell us what's happening this morning?
Yeah, well, it's just as you said, Hezbollah has announced that they've actually exchanged some fire now with the Israelis, and that's a big advance over yesterday when the Israelis said that they had actually launched a ground incursion, much anticipated, into Lebanon, but they said that they hadn't actually encountered any Hezbollah commandos. Now it looks like they have finally come to blows. We also learned yesterday that the Israelis had been launching incursions into Lebanon 70 times over the past year, this according to the IDF. So now, as you mentioned, we've seen these missiles fired from Iran into Israel, and this is a situation that hasn't necessarily involved Lebanon directly, but it very much will, because Hezbollah is the main cat's paw of Iran in the Middle East, facing off against Israel. It essentially, on some level, does Iran's bidding. So when we talk about the retaliation that Israel is going to be levying against Iran, and whatever Iran decides to do about that retaliation, it will almost certainly have an effect right here in Lebanon, in the places where Hezbollah is controlling, and that could become another major flashpoint, and of course a horrible burden for the people of Lebanon, 1,000 of whom have already been killed in the past 2 weeks, and more than, according to Lebanese authorities, 1 million of whom have been displaced from their homes. Joe, Savannah?
Matt, let's now talk about what we saw happen in Israel yesterday. At least one person was killed, and Israeli authorities said this morning that shock waves from Iran's attack damaged many homes in central Israel. What else have you learned about the damage caused by those Iranian missiles?
Yeah, well, we're still seeing footage of people picking up the pieces. One of the things that the Israelis said immediately after was that the limited casualties from this huge attack, you mentioned about 180, nearly 200 ballistic missiles. This is just a world away from the kind of fighting that we saw back in April when the Iranians launched mostly drones over to Israel. And that was, at that time, unprecedented. The Israeli authorities credited the preparations that the Israelis took. Israeli civilians were going down into shelters, having safe rooms available, taking precautions just in anticipation of exactly what happened. So we're still seeing a lot of debris that fell, a couple of injuries, homes that were damaged, roadways that were, sort of opened up by this falling debris, and that one death in the West Bank. There was a horrifying video that's been circulating that purported to show this. This just goes to show that despite the fact that Iran had tried their best to pelt the Israelis, and despite those videos that really were quite terrifying of all of those missiles falling through the sky, the Israelis have a very, very strong set of defenses. Their Arrow anti-air defense system came into play, and David's Sling came into play. These are two very advanced anti-air defense systems. Notice you didn't hear much about the Iron Dome. That's normally used for smaller missiles, lower trajectories fired from places like the Gaza Strip. So we saw them using their most advanced anti-air weaponry, and to great effect. Guys.
So, Matt, Prime Minister Netanyahu, as we mentioned, said Iran will pay for Tuesday's missile attack. Israel has struck inside Iran before. Do we have any sense of the preps that are underway for whatever retaliation is coming?
We really don't know, and that's something that we're going to be hearing probably from Washington and from the Israelis in the coming days and weeks. The Israelis obviously have been girding for this moment. This is something that won't surprise them, given that they've been going around the Middle East taking out top leaders of both the the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is the main body in Iran that governs its so-called axis of resistance and kind of collects them all together. The primary group in that axis of resistance is Hezbollah, and their leadership has been decapitated. It was just on Friday, we saw right here in the neighborhood of Dahia the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. If there is to be a greater region-wide war, and if Israel retaliates in a way that most people in this region are fearing, then we could see Hezbollah, the cat's paw of the Iranians, really coming into play here. That would be a big, big problem for the people of Lebanon, who are not necessarily involved in this, but who are victimized by the fact that this war is kind of happening around them. You know, we've seen now, according to Lebanese authorities, more than 1 million people displaced, more than 1,000 people, many of them civilians, killed in this 2 weeks of amplified fighting. Guys.
All right, Matt Bradley. Matt, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.